Have you ever felt like you're swimming upstream, pouring in all your effort, but getting nowhere? You try to control every detail. Work must be perfect. Friends must understand you. Time must align with your plans. But the harder you force it, the more exhausted you become. Sleepless nights worrying about deadlines. A friend drifts away because you unknowingly push them to change. I've been there, thinking tighter control would let me master everything. But the truth is, the more you force the river to flow your way, the deeper you sink into stress and loneliness. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus showed the way out. Epictetus wrote in Enchiridion, "Some things are in your control, your thoughts, your actions, and some are not, like outcomes or others' opinions. Trying to control what's beyond you only brings misery. But when you let go, focusing on your own oars, how you think, how you act, life begins to flow." Marcus Aurelius said in Meditations, "Align with the natural current, and you'll find peace." That's the Stoic secret, not forcing, but rowing with wisdom and trust. Think of a time you tried to force something. Maybe a project you wanted perfect, but colleagues didn't cooperate, leaving you stressed for weeks. Or a relationship you tried to hold on to, but the more you pushed, the further they drifted. I once lost a close friend by pressuring them to make time for me instead of accepting their life's rhythm. Have you been there? Share that moment in the comments at the video's end so we can learn together how to flow with the current. Today, we'll explore 6 Stoic lessons to live confidently, calmly, and attract what you want without chasing desperately. The third lesson is the crescendo, a story of overcoming great adversity, showing you're stronger than any rapids. The final lesson is a liberating gift, helping you merge with your own river's flow. You don't need to control everything to win. You just need your oars, thoughts, and actions, and trust that the current will guide you to the right place. Let's start this journey and let the river lead the way. Meet Liam, a 29-year-old entrepreneur, ambitious but trapped in a spiral of control. His startup was growing, but Liam demanded perfection. He pushed employees to work past midnight, scrutinized every email, and even argued with his girlfriend, Emma, just because she replied to texts a few hours late. One evening, after a heated fight with Emma, when she said, "You're suffocating me," Liam realized everything was crumbling. His company faced bankruptcy risks from lost clients. He hadn't slept well in weeks due to financial stress, and Emma was on the verge of leaving him. In despair, Liam met Hiroshi, a Stoic mentor, at a workshop. With calm eyes, Hiroshi said, "Liam, life is like a river. You can't force it to flow faster. You can only row wisely to reach your destination." He quoted Marcus Aurelius, "Accept the natural flow of things, and you'll find strength." Hiroshi asked, "What are you trying to control? Outcomes? Others? Or yourself?" The question was a wake-up call. Liam realized he couldn't control clients, Emma, or time, but he could control his actions and thoughts. Liam began to change. Instead of pushing employees, he held clear meetings, focusing on improving company processes. Instead of arguing with Emma, he apologized, gave her space, and worked on becoming a better version of himself. He stopped trying to control outcomes, whether the company would recover or Emma would return, and focused on what was in his power, working hard, communicating honestly, and staying calm. Each night, he journaled, noting one thing he did well, however small. Slowly, the river started flowing his way. The result? After 3 months, Liam secured a major contract, saving his company from bankruptcy. Emma returned, not because he forced her, but because she saw his transformation, confident, sincere, and at peace. Liam was no longer swimming upstream. He learned to row, letting the current guide him. Have you ever been like Liam, trying to force a project, relationship, or dream? Was there a moment you felt exhausted from controlling? Share that story in the comments so we can learn together how to row in rhythm. Liam's story leads us to the first lesson: purposeful action. How to turn chasing into natural attraction. Lesson 1. Purposeful action. When you act from desperation, fear of failure, or missing out, you're like a rower pushing the boat too fast, only to capsize in the river. But when you act with clarity and confidence, you row in rhythm, and the natural current brings opportunities to you. Epictetus in Enchiridion said, "First, decide who you want to be, then do what you must." Purposeful action stems not from fear, but from a deep reason within you. Look at Beyoncé. According to Vogue 2024, while preparing Cowboy Carter, the music industry pressured her to chase trending pop sounds. She could have panicked, fearing she'd lose her edge, and complied. But Beyoncé paused. She asked, "What do I want this music to say about me?" She chose to focus on her personal story, blending country and R&B, working with passion and clear intent. The result? Cowboy Carter not only topped charts, but was celebrated for its authenticity and originality. Beyoncé didn't chase trends. She rode her own current, and the world was drawn to her. Closer to home, a London engineer, per The Guardian 2023, was caught in a desperate spiral while job hunting. He sent hundreds of applications, dashed off cover letters, only to face rejections. He felt like a failure, fearing he'd never land a job. Then he paused. He asked, "What am I good at, Emma, and what do I want to do?" He identified his strength, data analysis, and focused on preparing thoroughly for a few fitting roles. He researched companies, practiced interviews, and acted with confidence. The result? He landed a dream job at a tech firm with a higher salary than expected. He didn't force the current. He rode with purpose. Have you ever acted from clarity, even in a small decision? Maybe preparing diligently for a presentation, or saying no to pressure to focus on what matters. Those moments made you stronger, didn't they? Share your story in the comments to spread the flow of purposeful action. This lesson is the first step to rowing in rhythm. Next, we'll explore how an abundant mindset helps you trust that your river will never run dry. Lesson 2. Abundant mindset. Many of us over-control due to a scarcity mindset, fearing a lack of opportunities, time, or love. It's like eyeing the river and worrying it'll run dry, making you paddle frantically in panic. But an abundant mindset, believing you are enough, that the river always flows, lets you row with calm and attract what you need. Epictetus in Enchiridion said, "Wealth is not having much, but wanting little." When you believe you're enough, you unlock life's infinite current. Look at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, per Forbes 2024. Before becoming a global star, he went broke, living in poverty after his football career collapsed. He could have succumbed to fear, thinking opportunities were gone, that he wasn't good enough. But Dwayne chose abundance. He was grateful for what remained: health, family, and small film roles. Each day, he worked with the belief that he was enough to succeed. He focused on every scene, every project, not clinging to instant fame. The result? He built an entertainment empire, from Hollywood to a tequila brand, because he trusted his river would never dry. Closer to home, a Manchester teacher, per BBC, 2023, lived in financial anxiety while raising her child alone. She feared not having enough money or giving her child a good future. But then she shifted. She practiced gratitude, thanking her home, her health, and her child's smile. She acted as if she was enough, seeking tutoring jobs with confidence instead of desperation. The result? She not only stabilized her finances, but built a beloved student community, bringing joy and meaning. She rode with trust, and the current carried her to shore. Have you ever had a moment of feeling enough, even in something small? Maybe gratitude for a warm meal, or confidence in completing a small task. Those moments made you stronger, didn't they? Share your story in the comments so we can flow together in this abundant river. An abundant mindset is the foundation for rowing with peace. Next, we reach the crescendo. A lesson on the growth mindset, helping you conquer any rapids in your river. Lesson 3. Growth mindset. When you over-control out of fear of failure, you're trapped in a fixed mindset. Like standing before the rapids of a river, terrified your boat will capsize. But a growth mindset, seeing opportunity in hardship, lets you row through any adversity, stronger than ever. Seneca, in Letters from a Stoic, wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor strengthens the body." You weren't born to fear. You were born for greatness, and each challenge is a stroke of the oar toward your best self. Look at Serena Williams. According to ESPN 2024, after a severe injury in 2017, she faced seemingly insurmountable challenges. A painful Achilles injury made walking difficult. The media labeled her washed up, and she questioned whether she could return to the court. The pressure of public opinion and her 23 Grand Slam legacy weighed heavily. But Serena embraced a growth mindset. Each step of recovery was a lesson. Each criticism was a chance to prove her strength. She trained daily, not forcing time, unafraid of failure. She told herself, "I was born for greatness, not perfection." In 2019, she returned, won another Grand Slam, and reminded the world that her current was stronger than any rapids. Closer to home, an employee in Birmingham, as reported by The Times in 2024, faced a storm in life when he lost his job during a 2023 layoffs round. He lost his income, his confidence collapsed, and he felt like a failure. His family depended on him, and the pressure made him want to give up. But he chose a growth mindset. He enrolled in an online programming course. Though it was tough at first, each coding error was a lesson. Each failed interview was a chance to improve. He persevered, built a small app, and eventually launched a successful startup with thousands of users. He didn't let the rapids defeat him. He learned to navigate them and found a new shore. You too were born for greatness, and you don't need a big victory today. A growth mindset starts with small actions. Like Serena practicing daily, you can journal for 5 minutes each night, noting one lesson from a challenge, a failed meeting, an argument, or a tiring day. That's how you forge your mind, as Seneca said, to grow stronger. I did this after a failed project, writing down lessons, and it boosted my confidence. What challenge have you overcome to grow? Was there a moment you learned from failure, however small? Share your story in the comments to ignite this current for all of us. You are stronger than any rapids, and a growth mindset is the oar that carries you through. But to paddle far, you need one more quality. The next lesson will teach you patience, to trust the rhythm of the river. Lesson 4. Patience. You force time, wanting instant success, wanting everything to go as planned. You're like someone trying to push the river to flow faster, only to exhaust yourself. Patience is paddling to the river's natural rhythm, trusting that the current will lead you to your destination at the right time. Epictetus, in the Enchiridion, said, "No great thing is created suddenly. Focus on your actions today, and let time do the rest." Look at Elon Musk. According to Forbes, 2023, when SpaceX faced 3 consecutive rocket launch failures from 2006 to 2008, Musk was on the brink of bankruptcy. Financial pressure weighed heavily. The media mocked him, and many urged him to quit. But Musk chose patience. Instead of forcing immediate success, he focused on improving each technical detail, learning from every failure. By the 4th launch, the Falcon 9 succeeded, paving the way for SpaceX to become a giant. Musk paddled with the river's rhythm, and to me led him to shore. Have you ever patiently waited for the current to guide you? Maybe it was persisting with a skill, or waiting for the right opportunity. Those moments made you stronger, didn't they? Share your story in the comments, so we can all trust in time together. Patience helps you paddle far, but to be truly free, you need one more lesson. Next, we'll explore how to detach, to let your paper boat float with the current. Lesson 5. Detachment. When you cling to outcomes, sales must soar, others must agree, or a project must succeed, you create anxiety, like trying to force a paper boat to follow a specific path on the river, only to tear it apart. Detachment is letting the paper boat go, focusing on your actions and allowing the current to decide its destination. Epictetus, in the Enchiridion, said, "Happiness comes when you accept everything as it must be. When you release expectations, you're free to paddle with peace." Look at Adele. According to Vogue, 2024, while preparing her album 30, she faced immense pressure. Her previous album, 25, sold millions, and the world waited to see if 30 could surpass it. She could have obsessed over sales, feared failure, or tried to please every critic. But Adele chose detachment. She focused on writing music from her heart, telling the story of her divorce and healing journey, without clinging to how the album would be received. The result? 30 not only topped the charts, but also touched millions with its authenticity. Adele released her paper boat, and the current carried her to shore. Closer to home, a freelancer in Dublin, as reported by The Independent, 2024, once lived in anxiety about retaining clients. He checked emails hourly, feared losing contracts, and overworked it to impress. But he learned to detach. He focused on the quality of his work, clean designs, clear communication, and let go of worrying about responses. The result? A major client unexpectedly offered a long-term contract, valuing his professionalism. He didn't force the paper boat. He let it float, and the current guided him right. Have you ever let go of expectations to focus on your actions? Maybe it was completing a task without worrying about feedback, or offering an apology without expecting forgiveness. Those moments brought freedom, didn't they? Share your story in the comments so we can all release our paper boats into the current. Detachment helps you live lighter, but to truly merge with the river, we need one final lesson. Next, we'll explore the gift of acceptance. Lesson 6. Acceptance. When you fight the river, angry at failure, anxious over slow progress, you exhaust yourself, like swimming endlessly against the current. But when you accept, merging with life's flow, you find a shore of peace and opportunity. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations wrote, "Accept what fate brings, for everything is part of the natural current. Failure, delay, or loss aren't enemies, they're gifts, guiding you to where you belong." Look at Oprah Winfrey. According to Forbes, 2023, when her television network OWN launched in 2011, it faced severe setbacks. Ratings were low, costs were high, and the media criticized her for taking too big a risk. Oprah could have resisted, forcing success by chasing market-driven content. But she chose acceptance. She acknowledged the difficulties, focused on creating meaningful content that reflected her values and merged with the current, trusting time would bring results. The result? OWN became a media empire, inspiring millions. Oprah didn't swim against the river. She let it carry her to shore. Closer to home, a parent in London, as reported by The Times, 2024, once felt despair while raising her autistic child. She worried about his future, feared she wasn't enough, and tried to control every aspect of his life. But then she learned to accept. She embraced the challenges, sought a supportive community, and focused on small steps. A smile, a new word from her son. The current brought miracles. Her son made remarkable progress, and she found strength in love and perseverance. She merged with the river and reached a shore of hope. Have you ever accepted a hardship to let the current guide you? Maybe it was letting go of a failed plan or embracing a setback to learn. Those moments brought freedom, didn't they? Share your story in the comments to spread the gift of acceptance. Acceptance is how you merge with the river, ready for the final shore. Next, we'll sum up this journey and start paddling your boat today. We've paddled through 6 Stoic lessons, each a stroke, bringing you closer to the current of freedom. Recall this journey. Beyoncé paddled with purpose, choosing authentic music to captivate the world. Dwayne Johnson trusted the river's abundance, grateful even in poverty, to build an empire. Serena Williams navigated rapids with a growth mindset, turning injuries into victories. Elon Musk persevered through failure, letting time guide SpaceX to the stars. Adele released her paper boat, letting go of expectations to let her album touch millions of hearts. And Oprah Winfrey merged with the current, accepting setbacks to create a legacy. Each of them reminds us, you don't need to control the river. You just need to paddle. Seneca, in On the Shortness of Life, said, "To live well each day is to live a full life." The current of freedom isn't a distant destination. It's the inner strength you carry today. Start with one small action. Journal for 5 minutes each night, like Serena, noting a lesson from your day. Be grateful for one thing you have, like Dwayne, even if it's just a meal or a smile. Or say no to pressure, like Beyoncé, to focus on what matters. And do this right now. Write down one thought or action you can control today. A thank you, a small step, and act on it. That's your oar. Which lesson touched your heart the most? Serena navigating the rapids, Oprah merging with the current, or the moment you realized you're enough? Like Dwayne, share your story in the comments to ignite the current for all of us. When you hit like, share this video with someone who needs to let go of control, or subscribe to the channel. You spread the Stoic light to the world. There's another video on the screen right now, ready to take you deeper into the journey of living freely. Click it. Thank you for paddling with me through this river. You are the one holding the oar, stronger than any rapids, richer than any fear. Let the current guide you, today and every day. I'll see you in the next video.